Hey team, I am back and today I'm taking on the Order Summary Challenge from Frontend Mentor. At its core, it doesn't look like a very complicated challenge. It is, for the most part, a card, but when we get into it, we have this wavy line in the background and this little block with the pricing information. So a lot of stuff that we've reviewed in previous videos are going to come back in full force. And when we're done, my hope is that it will also be themable, right? Being able to change out the colors very quickly. Maybe not on the image, but on everything else. So that is our goal for today. You can find that over, again, at Frontend Mentor. So go ahead and find it and download the assets. I've already done that. That is over here, okay? Now, we have all this stuff, so we can start to get rid of some of it, just like I do every other time. Getting rid of the attribution styles and adding in our CSS, okay? We're going to need that here, so let's go and create a file, style.css. Excellent. We will come back to that soon, right? For our markup, a lot of the same things that we've seen. So order summary, this is going to be something that we wrap in an H2, okay? The next line here, you can listen to millions of songs. That's just a paragraph. We can wrap that in a paragraph very quickly, okay? And then we have this plan, okay? And ultimately, we are going to wrap it in its own class, but what do we wrap annual plan in? Well, for me, I'm going to wrap it in a strong tag, okay? It's a little bit more chunky if you go and look at the Figma file, right? It is kind of bold compared to this stuff, so strong makes sense, okay? And then down here, we've seen this before. This is data, right? And so we should wrap it with a data tag, okay? Now, as part of that, we should add a value, which is 59.99, no dollar symbol, where it's just a number for machine reading purposes. And we are there for that part. Now, all of this, both pieces of these, both of these lines can be wrapped in their own paragraph, okay? And we're going to give that a class of plan _ rate, okay? I'm not sure if that's the right name. Again, naming things is hard. If you think of a better one, please use it, okay? Right below it, we have this change. Change is a link, right? It should go somewhere. So we're going to wrap this in an A tag, okay? And we're going to also give it a class, which is plan change. Seems logical, okay? It doesn't actually go anywhere in this one, but normally you would probably go to a different page. So let's make sure that that's dialed in and we are there, okay? At this point, we can wrap all of this in its own div, okay? So we're going to wrap it again. It's going to be div. We're going to call this plan, okay? So that it's bundled up. Now, there is an image that goes in here. It is over in images, this icon music, which there it is, okay? That icon goes right here beside the plan, right? It goes right here next to annual plan and the price. But how do we want to do this, okay? This image, you can see, going right back to the code, there it is. It is the circle with the little music symbol in there, okay? Do we need the circle? We could color that ourselves, right? If we don't care about making this themable later, then absolutely just go and use an image, drop it in there, get it done, not a problem. I want a little bit more, so I'm going to do something just a little bit different. I'm going to take that and reopen it as text, okay? So it's right here. I can format that really quick so that it looks a little bit nicer. And you're going to see that we have that circle. That is our, well, it's the circle. It's the background, right? And then we have the path, which is the music symbol, okay? So I'm going to grab all this, copy it over into my code right here. Not a problem. But because we want to do this right, we have some questions, okay? For instance, do we really want to be coloring this circle? Or do we just want to color the background of the SVG? And I feel like coloring the background of the SVG is probably a better plan. So my idea here is just to grab the path itself and move it up and out, okay? We don't actually need the group. That's what the G tag is for, okay? That's just doing some stuff, but there we go. We could actually delete this if you want, okay? I'm going to leave it there just for a hot second so that you can see. And there it is, okay? Now, we do want to be able to style this, so we should probably add a class. And that class will be plan icon, I think is what I'm going for here. Seems right, okay? The width and height can still stay there. The fill can still stay there. It doesn't really matter. Fill rule, I usually delete that too. It doesn't really do anything for us here, including this fill rule down here, right? Non-zero, even, odd. Not really doing anything. I would probably delete them and see what happens, okay? But for today, I'm going to leave it, okay? Moving down the page, we are going to get these. These are both buttons, okay? So I'm going to select them both and then wrap with abbreviation button. It's going to be type equals button just to make sure that it doesn't actually trigger a form, right? And then we'll add a class of button as well, okay? I'm not sure if the class is actually needed here, but better safe than sorry, okay? Just makes things a little bit easier for the future. We might have some custom styles or something there, okay? That's all I want for the buttons right now. We are going to come back and do extra stuff, but for right now, that's all we need, okay? From here, we can wrap it all up. So going from the last closing button tag all the way back to the start of our H2 tags, and we are going to wrap this, okay? We're going to wrap it in main with our handy dandy challenge wrapper, just like this. And then inside of there, we have article of card. And the last one we need is a div with card content, okay? So we have wrapped up lots of different stuff here, but the key is that we have that card content wrapped inside of our card and then our challenge wrapper to make sure that everything is bundled up tight. Now, last thing, right? Right before card content, we are going to add in picture, just like we've done in the past, right? It shouldn't be magic at this point. So card underscore image. And then inside of there, I'm going to use an image tag of / images illustration hero. Could I inline this SVG? I absolutely could, but because it's kind of the main picture or the main image for the card, I tend to leave this one alone. Okay, there's not a lot of customization to be had because generally speaking, each card has a different image. So this one I tend to leave alone, even though it's an SVG, okay? Just something to think about. But sometimes you might, okay? At this point, we should be able to go and see something. So let's go and open that. It is right here. And we're already starting to see some stuff, okay? We see our image. Doesn't have a background. We'll come back to that. We have a link. We have some buttons. We can start to do stuff. If we were doing this properly, this would be a very good time to commit. I'm not going to. You definitely should. I've done the committing in when I was setting this up in the past, okay? But you definitely should. So go and do that now. I'm moving on back over to the styles, okay? And we have bunches of them. So right here, I'm going to get into this. We have just a ton of colors. And it's kind of weird to me that if we're looking at this, I think the style guide does it. The style guide actually has weird names again, right? Designers being designers, that's okay. I've tried to change them to make them a little bit easier to use, but some of them are a little bit purplish. So I named that purple. I don't know if maybe this one should be purple too or something like that, right there. Maybe this one. No, that's kind of blue, right? Again, naming things is hard. So we have all of these colors. We have our font, Red Hat display. We'll come back to that in a second. We have some font sizes, as well as making sure that those are responsive. So here are our responsive sizes, all of them. From there, we go down and we have 3 different font weights, right? It's weird that they all jump by 200. I think we only use 700 once. I don't remember for what, but we can look at that in a second, okay? Line height, we do have a line height for the body. It's in there. Spacing, there are some special spacings in here, which are a little bit odd, but for the most part, it does follow our 8-pixel, our 8-point grid, okay? So very on base, I guess, on track, okay? Some of that is responsive. Apparently naming things is hard. In previous videos, I've debated whether to leave this as pixels or to move it to our scale. But here I've just left it as pixels, and our responsiveness, it's all in there. Again, it's using utopia.fyi to clamp it down, okay? Radius, and then we get into our tier 2 tokens where we have just a bunch of background colors, even more content, because again, we're going to want to control things like the wave, things like the icon, right? The icon background, the icon itself. So that is all in there, and we've tried to do that. 2 different shadows, one for the button, one for the card itself. Again, using some flexible stuff and reducing opacity, okay? Typography, there's a bunch here, right? We have heading, body, and then we have some for the plan. The link, that's where we use that 700. I knew it would come back. And of course, our button, which is 900, right? So mostly 900 and 500, but for some reason, this plan link is 700, kind of an oddball, but we'll work with it. Making radiuses easier by renaming them. Card image, okay? So in here, we do have this image, okay? And it is a fixed height, 220 pixels, and then over here it is something smaller. It's, oh, I grabbed the wrong one. There we go, 160, right? So I've gone and done that here, where I have the image height small, the image height large, and again, I've used Utopia.fyi to clamp them for some responsiveness, okay? Our max width, it's a little bit more chunky today, which is nice. Now, to save us some time, I've kept going with this. Our super simple reset, we have our body, it's just font color and background color. Our H2, font and color. Strong, again, resetting it because strong, by default, the font weight is stronger, okay? So making sure that it always stays the way that we want. Then, of course, our color for the strong content, all good. Picture, image, and SVG. Block max width of 100%. We've seen that before, not a problem. And our link. So if we go and do this and we go and find our font, let's go and do that really fast. Going and grabbing the font, getting it. Get the embed code. What do we want? We just want Roman. We want all these weights because that's how it works. Copy this over, paste it into our HTML, and save it. So now, if we go back and take a look, this should start changing, and it absolutely does, okay? Things are starting to take shape. We have a little bit of hover on the change link, not a problem. We should probably take care of these buttons. Again, good place to commit if you're doing that, okay? But let's take care of the buttons. So, over to the style. We have buttons. B-U-T-T-O-N. I can spell that. I didn't need to spell it out. Don't know why I did that. But the cursor, the border is 0. The border radius is radius small, I believe. Where is it here? Yes. Okay. Background color is button, right? Where is it here? Background button. Brilliant. Okay. What else? Color. Color is knockout. Okay. And knockout is, again, it's just white. When I use knockout, I assume it to be white. Okay. Font is dash dash button again, but typography button. Excellent. We have some padding. That is 200, space 200, not blue 200. And box shadow, okay? Which is dash dash shadow button. Excellent, okay? So if I go and look at this right now, we're gonna see these buttons, okay? And they already have a shadow on them. They're looking kind of nice. Probably should get some hover in there. So let's go and do that really fast. Ampersand hover. And we are going to set this to background color of hover. Where is it? Button hover. There it is. Okay. So now we have that. Okay. And that is the effect that we're going for when we do this. So things are looking pretty okay. Now, the second button is not supposed to look like that. So we need a data type in here. Okay. And what we're going to do is right down here underneath it, we're going to go button data type equals secondary. Perfect. Okay. And we are going to add some new styles. So first off, we're going to go padding is 0. Okay. Getting rid of the padding. Background color is transparent. Yes, absolutely. Color is dash dash secondary. Where is it here? Second. What are you doing? There it is. Secondary. Absolutely. And box shadow. Okay. Box shadow should be 0 or none. I think you can use either of those. Actually, I think it should be none because it's got a lot of properties in there. Okay. Same thing as last time. So ampersand hover. And we have our, in this case, the background color. Because we set it up above, we have to set it again. It's kind of annoying, but now we can go color is secondary hover. Okay. At this point, we should be able to take a look. I didn't use it. Ha, got to do that. Okay. So copy this over into the HTML, the second button right here. Okay. If you wanted to, you could also do a primary. We aren't actually using this today, but you absolutely can. Okay. Now we have this. This one looks kind of like a link. This one looks like a button, but they are both button. At least that's my assumption, is that this is going to trigger something like an AJAX request or a JavaScript fetch. Okay. So these are both buttons. This one is a link because it should go somewhere else to change it. Okay. Or maybe this one is a button. Maybe change is a button because it's bringing up a modal, right? Who knows? But this is what I'm doing today. So I'm going to leave it there. Now, these should be on their own line. They should do their own thing. We're going to add one more thing here, which is this. Right underneath all this, we're going to go button, and we're going to add data full width and set it to display block. Okay. And then width 100%. Excellent. Okay. Now, you'd think that this would work. Need to add that data. So let's go do that. Okay. Right here, paste it in, save it, refresh it. Excellent. But there is a small problem here, and that is this. If I'm way over here, you'll notice that I'm triggering that cancel order button. Okay. Maybe that's what you want. I kind of don't. Okay. So I'm going to change this just a little bit more. Right below it, I'm going to set button. Actually, maybe I can just save myself some time by duplicating this one. And what are we doing here? So data type is secondary. I'm going to go and copy that, bring it down. So it's button, data type secondary, data full width, and we change this stuff. Okay. The width is going to be fit content. Excellent. and the margin inline, okay? So margin inline, where is it? Margin inline, there it is going to be auto, okay? Margin inline is going to help us center that because we've already set it to display block. So this is our centering property. This makes sure that it squishes down to only be the text of the box, which means that now it just works, okay? We don't get it over here. We only get it when we hover that link. That way people don't accidentally click the cancel button, right? You don't want to accidentally trigger a cancel, but everything else is lining up really nice. So this would be a really good place to commit, okay? At which point we move on to our compositions, right? So moving down the page, we have these compositions. Again, we're going to use that flow. We have cluster again to make sure that things are grouping together, and our challenge wrapper, okay? Saving it, go and check it out. It's already squaring up, which is excellent, okay? We just need to add some of those properties. So let's go do that now. Over to the HTML, scrolling right up, we have card. We are going to leave card alone because the card image doesn't have any space around it, okay? Or there's no space between card image and card content. But on card content, we definitely need flow, okay? And then on plan, we are going to use cluster. And then plan rate, way down here, we can go flow again. And I think that's it for this, okay? It's just a handful, but we get it done quickly. And things start to take shape, okay? Again, this is on one line. We'll fix that in a second. This should actually be over along the far edge. We'll fix that in a second. But things are starting to look kind of nice, right? So we can start to do stuff. Now, again, good place to commit if you're doing that. Moving on, getting into the styles. We can actually close this SVG for now. We don't need it. It is bugging me, but here we go. The card, okay? We have the card. We're going to do some stuff. So background color is going to be card background card. There it is. Border radius, just like this. We're going to get radius of large, okay? Brilliant. Box shadow, we have that second shadow, which is, I guess, technically our first one, depending on what you think. But it is our shadow card. And the last thing that we need, okay, because our image goes right to the edge this time, we want to add overflow hidden to the card itself, okay, which ensures that anything inside of here is going to get clipped, and our image is not going to overflow that corner, okay? So overflow hidden, that's what we need. We can go and take a look, refresh it. Things are starting to take shape. We need more, okay? Down here, card, image, okay? On the image, we have a height, okay? That height is very specific. It's kind of weird. We have the image height. Remember, the image height flexes from, I think it's 160 pixels, if I'm scrolling way up, 160 pixels to 220 pixels, okay? So on the large sizes, it's going to be 220. On the small ones, it's going to be 160. And this allows us to do that in one move without any media queries, okay? So saving us some time there. We also have the image itself. So we are going to set this to be with 100%, height 100%, object fit, cover, okay? Just to make sure that it's squared away. So nothing really changes because technically this image is already set up for that, but it won't be when we go responsive. So we want to make sure that it's in a good place, okay? If I'm being a good citizen, this should actually be inline size, okay? And this one here, height, should be block size. Good, okay? That doesn't actually change anything. It just makes it more better for the future. Okay. Content. We need the content. We're going to go card underscore content, just like this. And that content is pretty straightforward, actually. So we have that flow space where it is a var of dash dash space 24 to 32. Okay. So a little bit of responsiveness in that spacing. We get it done. Okay. Text align center. Everything is centered this time around. So there we go. Padding inline. Where is it? Okay. The inline and the block are both just slightly different, which makes them annoying, but easy enough to do. We can totally go space 24 to 32. 24 to 48 is what we need. We need this big one. Okay. And then padding block right there. This one is also space 32 to 48. So this one is right here. Okay. Everything should start to squeeze in a little bit, looking really, really nice, but we still have work to do. Okay. There is one place right here, this heading and this paragraph. We want to take care of that. Okay. Now we've seen that before. We can totally go in here and go H2 followed by basically anything. Okay. And right here we go flow space and set that to 200. Okay. Not the blue, but the space. Okay. It just brings it all in, makes it a little bit tighter, a little bit nicer. Excellent. Okay. At this point, we should take care of that plan box. And then I think, for the most part, we're done the card. We just need to take care of the background. Okay. So down here, commit if you haven't, but here is plan. Okay. Plan has flow space. Let's take care of that. That is going to be a var of dash dash space. Come on. 24 to 20. So this one actually goes backwards. It's a little bit weird like that. It gets bigger for mobile and smaller for large sizes. Kind of weird. Something to watch for. Cluster space. So we're going to use this in a second because, again, making sure that everything is spaced out properly. Var, this is space of 250. Okay. 250 would be 20 pixels. Okay. Unless I'm missing something, which I'm not. So there it is. Okay. Moving down, we have text align. We want to reset that to be left. Okay. We set everything to be center up here. So we kind of need to reset it in the plan just to make sure that it's dialed in. Then we have our own padding. Padding is going to be space 16 to 24. Yes. Background color. Dash dash background. Which one is it? It is primary, I believe. Yes, primary. Kind of named it funny there. I should have just named it plan, really. Should have added one of those, but I did not. And we are moving on. Okay. Radius small for the border radius, which means that now everything's starting to take shape. It is forcing a wrap because now with the padding, there's not enough room to have both of these things. We can take care of that in a few seconds. First, let's take care of the icon. Okay. Right here. Dot plan icon. Okay. The icon has a background color, right? It is background icon. We already set that up. Really nice. Border radius is 50%. Okay. Because we want it to be a circle. It was a circle. Now it is a circle. Everything is looking really good. Because we want this to be as flexible as possible, we're also going to set something on path. Path was inside of the SVG. Okay. If we go back here, we have that path. Path currently has a fill set on it, right? But we can override that with our own path and it will take effect in this case, which is pretty nice, actually, when you think about it. So fill, we're going to set that to a variable. Oh, let's do this right. There it is. Dash dash content icon. Where is it? There it is. So that should take shape, looking really good. Now we can move down a little bit and get some other stuff, okay? So plan rate, okay? We need to do something on plan rate. Specifically, we need to add a little bit of space. So again, flow space, setting that to a very weird number. Why did I do it that way? If you go and look at the file, okay, so right here, you're going to see that this has a space of 6 pixels. And then over here, if we look at this, it has a space of 3 pixels, which is kind of an odd measurement, a very, very much a one-off. Okay, and so what I did was I went and fed those into utopia.fyi, and instead of creating a variable, because it does feel like a one-off, I just pasted it in directly. So technically this is our 3 pixels and this is our 6 pixels, okay? Which allows it to get just a little bit tight. And then right underneath that, we should, add some space, do it right. Display block that so that it wraps, okay? If we take a look at that now, everything should get a little bit spaced out. We still need to take care of change. We'll do that in a second, but at least now it's all kind of in the right place, okay? So some things that we need to do. We need to take care of the strong. We need to take care of the data. And then, yes, we will take care of that change, okay? So going down, we have, I'm going to leave them in here because that's what I've been doing. So here's that strong. That's a font of -- strong. Sorry, for some reason I went with heading. Just confusing myself now. I'm not sure why I chose that one, but sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes while you're working, you might have to go and refactor. I would probably do that later on in the video. I'm not going to do it live because I don't want to run too long on this. But here's font. This is pricing, plan price. Excellent. Oh, here's what I missed. Okay. I did this wrong. This is plan heading. That's what I need. Okay. Now I got it. I remember now. Okay. So I did have a plan and I just completely forgot because I'm rambling. Okay. Dot plan change, just like this. This one also has a font of -- plan link right here. Excellent. And what else do we need? Whoa, that's not right. Color, come on. I grabbed the wrong one. Try it again. -- plan link typography. Excellent. Okay. Not sure what's going on there, but sorted it out. Okay. Now to space it over, to get that spacing right, we could have wrapped this in a different way that allowed us to use something like a repel. We've used repel in previous videos, but to show you something different, we can just go margin inline end, auto. That's not right. Margin inline start auto. Okay, and this is going to force it to push to the other side. So that margin, whatever the space is here, it's going to take up as much of it as it can. Okay, this is the start of change, and it goes from here to there. Okay, at this point, the card is done, right? And it looks really good. It's responsive. If we bring up our responsive mode, we can shrink this down and see stuff, even that image, right? It's kind of changing around, and things are looking really, really good. Okay. Yeah, I probably should change the change link to work better, but for now, right, it works. right about here. Excellent. Okay. Let's take care of the background. The background is its own thing. Okay. And there is quite a bit to it. So we've seen this in the past with, I think, the FAQ challenge. If you go and look that up in my videos, you'll see me do something similar to what we're about to do right now. First off, let's turn off the responsive mode just so we can do it and get right into it. Okay. The first thing that we need to do is add that image. Now, I'm not going to use both these. It gives us the desktop and the mobile. Okay. If you wanted to, you could just go and use these and get on with it. Okay. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to go with the background, the desktop background, open with text editor, format that so that we can get it done. Where is it here? Format. Excellent. Okay. We need to do a few extra things in here. For instance, we need right here a view box. Okay. View box is going to be 0, 0, and then our width and our height. So 1440 to 437. If we don't have that, then the next step is not really going to do anything. Okay. So the next step is preserve aspect ratio. Okay. Preserve aspect ratio is kind of like object fit for SVG. I've talked about this in the past too. And it allows us to decide how that image is going to resize when we give it a different width and height. Okay. And all that is based on the view box being there. So view box, preserve aspect ratio, we can get this done. Okay. In this case, we're going to go X mid, Y max, slice. Okay. And that's kind of like object fit with an object position of bottom. Okay. The Y max creates an object position of exactly that, of bottom. And then we slice off whatever is extra. Okay. Copying this, bringing it back to our markup and pasting it right above the main. Okay. Saving it, it's going to reformat so that everything's on a line, but that is okay. And notice again that we did not change the fill color of this path. Okay. Not a problem. We don't need to, but at this point we can start to do stuff. For instance, on body, we're going to add a class of overlap, which is something that I've used in the past. We can go and create that really fast in styles. So up to our compositions right here after cluster dot overlap. It is a what I consider a very simple utility, right? It's just display grid, and the children are positioned so that they do exactly that. They overlap. Okay. So right here, grid area 1/1/-1/-1. Okay. And that, if we go and take a look, should put things into place. Now, we aren't quite done, okay, because we don't have any height information on this, and that is why it's not stretching to the end, okay? So let's go fix that really fast. That is going to go right down to the bottom. We are going to call that, I did not add a class to this, so let's go and do that. Class equals wave, okay? Make sure that it's actually in the quotes, wave. There we go. I think last time I called it swirl, but this time it looks more like a wave, so I'm going to call it wave, okay? And then down here, dot wave, we have a width of 100%, which technically, I guess, should be inline size, okay? Inline size of 100%, block size of, what is it, okay? Well, again, if we go back to our settings here, we can see that this, the big wave is 437. That's the one that was set on there, okay? And then the small wave is 194. So we want it to go from 437 to 194. We can totally get that done, okay? 194 pixels, because this is our small size, okay? At media. This is the first time we've used at media in a very long time, but here it is, okay? min width 450 pixels. If I wanted to, I would probably take this this block size and send it through utopia.fyi too. But coming to the end of the video, I'm going to cheat a little and do it this way. Okay, 437 pixels. Excellent. The last part of this is making sure that we can color that path. So we go and do that path, just like this, and we set fill equal to, well, get the semicolon in there so it'll work. Var dash dash content wave all the way at the bottom. There it is. Okay. So now we can do that. And if we go back and look, we have that. It's filled out. And if we go and resize this again, right here, it should at some point pop to the top, which is kind of hard to see here. If I go and cheat for a second, let's go and change the colors so that this is, say, fire brick. Okay, save it, refresh it. Now you can see that it's up there, and down here it's back. It's looking pretty okay. Okay. If you compare this right now to our Figma file, you'll notice that the wave kind of goes through the image. Okay, goes through the card image, and that is because of how big this this page is. Okay, they have it set to 1440 by 900, but I guarantee you that my browser height is definitely not that tall. Okay, right now it's 717. Okay, so getting that sizing right, and then of course 1174, getting that sizing right doesn't really work. But again, if you really wanted to compare this, let's go and move this back for a second. Okay, so changing it back, making sure that it's the right size, and resizing it to 50%. Now at this point, I should be able to drag this out to 1440-ish, right about here, and down to, or up to 900. There it is. There it is. Okay. Didn't need to resize it. Thank you very much. And going to our image. So open the folder, go get the design, the desktop, open with CleanShot X, resize, not resizing it, sorry, we're going to use it directly, but we do need to pin it, okay, and then change it to 50%, okay, just so that we have it. Reducing opacity, going back to the browser, and right here, okay? So everything is looking pretty locked in, okay? And it's completely flexible. So with all of the work that we've done, we've gone and made it so that we can color the SVG. We've made it so that we can go and color the icon, coloring everything in here, right? Just having a good time of it. And if we take this back, where are my tools? Where did it go? There it is. Turning this off, okay? And going back here to our code. One more test. So right up here, right above all of this, here's our tier 2 colors. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy some new ones in. I'm not even going to overwrite these. I'm just going to paste them right down here. So I have a lot of different purples in here, medium orchid, stuff like that. Save it, go back, refresh. There it is. Where did I get the purple from? Well, that's this little, these little music symbols. I totally stole it from there. Okay, so matching that color to that, doing some stuff, we can totally color this. Everything still kind of works. And all we did was change the color palette, change the theme. Now, we aren't going to be changing the image. That would probably come from the designer, but the rest of it is very flexible, okay? And you can make this as pretty or as garish as you want, okay? So rolling back really fast, whoops, going to my code editor, getting rid of all of this. We don't need that. Saving it. Why won't it do its thing? There it is. And here's where we are, okay? We created the card. And the card is something that we've seen before. So lots of good stuff going on here. Lots of spacing, lots of different stuff with links and little pieces that become their own blocks, right? The buttons, different styles for buttons, the wave, and all of it being entirely flexible and themable. I think it turned out pretty nice. Did you? Right? That's the question. Did you find it easy? Did you find it surprising? Do you hate it? Do you like it? Let me know in the comments. And again, remember to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff so that you get my newest videos. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.